All right, so Green Bay Independent Media has finally started doing interviews, and the first one we did was with one of the original employees of Dungeons and Dragons. When you think about Dungeons and Dragons, you think monsters and tales, sitting around a table playing with each other. This is something that is actually from Wisconsin, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and my friend invited me to go down there, and we wonderfully got an interview with one of the first employees of the company itself. He gave us some insights, and that interview is about to play now. Enjoy. So this is for Green Bay Independent Media, and this is going to be one of our first interviews, and we got incredibly lucky today. So we came down to GaryCon, which is basically the D&D mecca, and we know that D&D had started in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So they just opened up this museum where it was originally created. And we stumbled in with my friend Mark and his son, and currently Mark's son is actually at this very moment playing a D&D game with the son of the creator of D&D. So we're lucky enough to be here.
Yes, Jeff Leeson. Justin's my partner owner.
At this moment, we have the man that's been here. You worked here for how long?
Started in 1978 to 81, and then 82 to 86.
Now, some of the things that like most people won't know. What's a good memory from the time?
Oh my gosh, everything's a good memory. Well, we lived and breathed gaming almost 24 hours a day. If you were in shipping, you were delivering the stuff, editing, or doing art. Every weekend there was a game to play. Someone would make up a game. Oh, we're play testing this game. There was a lot of play testing of games that we were working on at work, and then off work we were still play testing and getting them done. So everything was you were getting paid to play games.
How did you find that job?
Yeah, how did I find a job?
It?
Yes, I did. So I consider myself the luckiest guy in the world, being at the right place at the right time. I was in a high school here in town, Badger High School in Lake Geneva, and I was asked if I would play string bass in orchestra. I never did before, so I said, sure, I'll give it a shot. So sophomore year, I joined orchestra and became the first bass, and Ernie Gygax was first violin.
Really?
And so I met him when I was 15, he was 16. So we got to talking. I skipped out of one class once, and that was with Ernie Gygax.
So before we go on, can you tell the audience who Ernie is?
Yeah, Ernie Gygax is actually Ernest Gary Gygax Jr., Gary Gygax, his oldest son. Gary Gygax being the creator of Dungeons and Dragons. And if it weren't for Dungeons and Dragons, there would be gaming would be different, and I'm talking computer games and everything, because levels were invented, and hit points and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Mark and I were even like we play Magic the Gathering a lot, and we were just mentioning like we don't think it would even exist without D&D.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so much that bled off from it.
Yeah, and so it was back then. We didn't even think it'd really be anything big. You know, it'd be more like a comic book shop that produced comics, basically. So I don't know, maybe Gary always had this in his mind that no, it's always going to be big, but we didn't really think in terms of what we were doing was going to change everything.
So when was there a point when you were there where it went from the standard family gaming shop where people come to play to, oh my God, this is blowing up. Something's changed.
Yeah, it was 1980, I think it was. It might have been late '79. So we were in this building, and we bought the building downtown. Used to be the Claire Lounge, and now it's Killian's Chocolate. 3-story building. So we moved all of editorial and the art department there, because then we hired 2 new artists and at least two new editors. I was the first editor hired there. So and then we started filling that building up, and then this building, and then the Dungeon Hobby Shop was downstairs in that building. So this just became Dungeon TSR periodicals. and that's all they use this building for. And then TSR expanded and went to another building on Sheridan Springs Road,
Wow.
and then expanded once again at the end next to the Sheridan Springs building. They bought another warehouse and added a huge shipping warehouse.
Was that in a period of a couple of years, or how long did that actually?
Well, so TSR started in '76. We moved downtown around '80, let's say. Then Sheridan Springs was probably bought in '82ish, '83, and then that was sales department, and then Gary had an office there. He never had an office downtown, and then I couldn't tell you when they added the last. I think that was probably around '85 when they got the really big building.
So just like massive growth
Well,
in like 5 years.
I was a 17th employee, and then we were up to 50, which was holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, when I was laid off with 149 other people because there was over 300 employees.
Wow.
And it was just stupid. Gary was already out in California with TSR Entertainment doing the cartoons and the movies. So Lorraine Williams was in charge, and
yeah, it's crazy how stuff like that blows up.
yeah, very different. If Gary would have kept TSR, I'd probably be rich. I'd be handing you $100 for doing this interview. Here, there you go. Hey, there you go.
No, I should be paying you.
No, not at all.
I'm just happy you're willing to do it.
No, I'm was in the right place at the right time, folks. Really, honest to God. So
and that's why I feel
lucky
today.
guy.
You know, like what coming in here and just so. Mark's son is good. I can't believe how lucky that is, and thank you guys for being here and doing that, because like for him to be in a game with the son of the creator is just like.
I hope he doesn't fully comprehend it till afterwards.
No, me either.
Yeah.
I hope afterwards he'll be thinking about it.
I hope he's just relaxed enough to play and enjoy himself rather than being nervous. I'd be nervous.
Well, I'd be nervous too, which is like hilarious. I don't know that I could do it. I'd be like.
Well, so the first time I started playing D&D in like 1974, 75-ish. I think it's 75, but my buddy just said it was 74. The original D&D came out in 74. So TSR wasn't around yet, so I bought my game out of Gary's basement. He was a cobbler, and they were on welfare. 5 kids, and you'll go over 330 Center Street. Add this to the video. See how small the house is? They had 5 kids, and he was selling games out of his basement.
I mean, the amount of love that he had for what he was doing. Like, do you understand how crazy it would be for somebody to say, "I got 5 kids. I'm gonna do this. I know this is gonna work," and he just pushed and pushed. I mean, the conviction of somebody to be able to follow through with that is just beyond me.
And Mary wasn't really pleased.
Oh, I can't imagine.
So she had the first Gen Con at their house, 1967, and she pretty much then planned the next few. She wasn't a gamer. None of the girls were gamers, and then now they're starting the game to Heidi and Elisa. But yeah, it was pretty much a miracle. And then when I started working here, I thought I was working for the Dungeon Hobby Shop shipping. I didn't know I was working for TSR, even though I knew that Gary was Gary, because I bought my game out of his basement. And I knew his son. So doing shipping, I thought, I could grunt boxes. I'm 18 and strong. Well, then less than a year later, I'm able to do editing, and my name's going on product and stuff. It's like, holy crap. So that was huge for me, because I always thought, well, I'll be throwing boxes for the rest of my life.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
So hear me out. The first time you showed somebody your name on a box, you must have been just giggling.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so now my brother, who's 3 years older than me, I'm going to be 62, and he's 65. You know who my brother is? And then they had my signature next to Gary's signature, because I then worked for Mayfair Games later on. So he did an introduction for something I wrote. So he had his signature on it. I had my signature on it, and was selling at Noble Knights Games in Madison. And so my brother had to show his friends that, you know whose signature that is? So he's my biggest fan.
So, I've played D&D in Delaware, California, kind of, different groups. And I don't know that the people I was playing with knew that D&D started in Wisconsin. Like it's you know
No one does.
I love this state so much, right? So
No, I didn't know. Jesse didn't know until we looked it up.
yeah,
A
I mean
couple
it's
days ago,
surprising.
actually.
It's really surprising. But what comes out of Wisconsin? Cheese, Harleys, and
Bratwurst and beer.
yeah, but it's like creative stuff like D&D. I mean, it just blows me away. Like let California have Hollywood. We got D&D. I'll take it.
Yep. Well, people that live here, there's nothing. There has been nothing until Justin put up the "Come to the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum" big billboard. Um, it's not been promoted at all.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that this gets it out there even a little bit.
Oh, it has more than we even thought.
So,
Most by mistake, like you coming here and all of a sudden it's like, hey, can we do this? People coming up and say, can I do an interview? It's like, okay, let me.
so what do you think your pass through is like if somebody watches this video and they say, oh, I'd love to go check it out, which they should. Is it easy to come in and hang out and do stuff, or is it something like you guys schedule? Should they call you ahead of time?
Um, if they, we also like, so this place was, when we think of it, we think of it with love and playing games. So we want to have as many games going on as, constantly, if we could. Um, if you want to learn about true D&D history of from 1974 on to 1986, you should come here and learn it. Come and learn a game. They can call, it's tsr.com museum or dungeonhobbyshop.com, and we can reserve a table for you if you want to bring your group in. My other two partners, I hope, don't hear this. They would charge money. I don't charge money if you want to get your group to come in and play, and then you can actually play in a historical place. Well, that means a lot to a lot of people, and
Extra luck on the dice.
yeah. So
So another thing you had mentioned to us is that there's Airbnb. Can you speak of that a little bit?
yeah, so where Gary wrote or Dungeons and Dragons is 330 Center Street, and Yolanda and John own it now, and it's not a bed and breakfast, but it's the original place where D&D was written, and she rents it out to gamers, and you can actually have a group of people come over and play where D&D was actually written,
Yeah.
which is really deluxe. The charge might sound high. I think it might be like $500 or $1,000 a day, but when you think about it, if you bring in 10 friends, $100 or $50, whatever, but to say that you played.
Yeah, the spirit of the place is there for sure.
And she's using the money to fix a building up.
Yeah, so it's going to the good cause.
Yeah, and she sells T-shirts, and she's just a wonderful, wonderful lady. They were probably 2 days from gutting out the building because they bought it they lived in Chicago. We're going to renovate the whole thing. It's going to be beautiful. I had the architect there and everything, and then a guy in our industry said, "Oh, I see you bought this house. Do you know the history?"
Ah,
Thank God they said that.
wow.
So yeah, otherwise it'd be completely different.
And you would be missing the opportunity to play at the place where D&D was written. So I'm recommending that people try to follow up and do that. At least look into it. If you're going to do it, call me. All right, so I do love asking questions like personal, just interest stories. Can you tell me about what's the most memorable event you had while playing a D&D game? I was sucked into a black void. I'm very jaded.
Okay, so my story is going to be with me being the dungeon master, and I'm not a killer. I'm not against my players. They're not against me. But it was all TSR players. That was another cool thing working for TSR. All my players were at TSR, so they're pretty much the creme de la creme. And they get teleported into a room, and it's I'm in a huge room, and in the center of the room is this huge, huge skull. Not a human skull, just some kind of a monster skull. And they're all about 9th, 10th level. My non-player character Phoebus from the Rogues Gallery, I always ran him, a big nasty fighter, take a lot of damage. So it happened to be a lich's lair, um, and it ended up being a TPK. Everybody, they didn't run. They we can take. Oh, it was not
It was
good.
a brutal fight.
I lost my favorite non-player character in the world.
Oh.
So and that was DMing. So it was like I had to play the way it would happen. So I had to kill my own guy. But they all got back. Even the paladin. They're dead and they hear a voice. If I raise you, would you be willing to work for me? And then you can ask 3 questions, and so it'll be like, do I have to do anything against my, alignment and stuff like that? So I get to the paladin of the group, and the lich asks him, and he says, well, there's no way in, no, he didn't say hell, of course, because he's a paladin, but there's no way in hell that I can work for a lich because you're an undead. And the lich said, no, you'll be killing other evil things that are my enemies as well. So you're working this off. So he's actually not going again. He's not dedicating himself to the lich. So they ended up buying. They had to pay via magic items, and then the lich would turn those into more more powerful magic items, or suck the magic out, or by going on adventures and killing baddies that the lich didn't like. And they finally did it over the years. We never have had the, because once they and he said, so there's not going to be violence between me or you guys, but once this contract is over, I can't guarantee what's going to happen. So they're all like, oh, we're going to come back and kick ass on the lich, and then we all went different ways.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's like, what was the end of the movie? That was the end of the movie.
Oh my god! But the fact that you killed them all off and then brought them back is pretty cool, though. I've never heard about that. That would be a new story. Interesting.
Well, so.
And you also enslaved them in some way, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do my bidding.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. But you could do it. Anybody could do it. Lawful good or evil. That's the thing. That was the thing that made it. Because Tim Giardini did not want to lose his paladin, but it was like.
It's terrible when you have a character that you've been playing for so long and then they get killed off.
And like I said, that's the only time I killed off everybody. And I just said, you know how stupid you guys are? You should have just run. It was a stinking lich, You might. And then other minions popped up and.
How close did they get to killing it?
Not even.
Not even close.
No, because it had minions. It had these. I'm very visual. I use miniatures all the time playing. So archive miniatures just to put out this little imp. So I had 3 little imps with pitchforks, and they'd throw the pitchfork, and if it hit that. If it hit the character you rolled on a table, a hit location, and that limb, hopefully a limb, would shrivel up. Well, so Phoebus, a lizard man, being over 8 feet tall, took one in the leg. Well, and then he fell over. He's pretty useless, and he's the main tank. And then someone else got hit in the chest or something
They didn't
and
run
died.
away after? Was this like one round?
No, it was like, oh, look, this big skull, let's check it out. Oh, this little imp comes out, throws a spear, or a trident.
You said they were transported to this room. Where are they going to run?
Oh, there was a door. Yeah, so it was
originally out.
Yeah, they just had a random teleporter that they weren't supposed to. If they would have known how to control it, they could have teleported different areas. But it was the lich's area, so he made the teleporters. He could control what area he teleported to. So they just hit a random one and happened to go there. So killed everybody. Was able, and then the rest of the campaign was based on that.
So what level did they get to by the end?
12th, 13th.
That's a pretty good game.
Yeah. I started in 76 and then ran it through about 86. And then hadn't run it for 25 years and just started it up again, so.
Oh, with all the same players?
No, not the same players. Now everybody's everywhere.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of happens. Well, that's what happened with me too, move here, there. But the group of guys, like when the guys in Delaware see that I'm here and doing this, they're gonna, I hope, freak out. And I can't wait for them to do that.
Yeah, and then give me a call or send me a line.
What I'll do with this is I'll check it with you before I put it up too.
That's okay.
So I'll edit it.
We'll do one of these with pants on as well. So, sorry. We want gaming to happen here. That's what this is meant to be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of division in gaming right now due to stupid politics. And I know for a fact Gary would just say, shut up and roll dice.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, everybody, shut up, roll dice, okay? We're here to play games. Leave life's troubles out on the street. We're here to play games.
Have you ever used that Roll20?
No, I'm extremely old school, which is sad, but I'm old, so leave me alone. But no, but I want to get into it. I played 5e on just using an iPad. That to me was really exciting, and then I didn't have to roll dice. I just pushed a button and got advantage, disadvantage. So I was like, woo! So people say I should run stuff online and do that. I'm just not comfortable with it yet. If I could have someone walk me through it, and then other systems too. Working with TSR, there were so many tunnels and trolls, bunnies and burrows, GURPS, so many different systems. But since you work for TSR, you pretty much ran everything D&D. So there's a lot of games out there that I never did get to play.
This is actually bringing something to mind that I'll mention. There's in Green Bay. There's this place called Title. It's a Titletown Investing or something like that. Basically, they find ideas or somebody with an idea and they blossom it into a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's currently they're currently funding it's a game-based startup online stuff. I don't know too much about it, but I know they're doing it. So, like, being that you guys have the namesake and everything else, if there's anyone in this environment that that's looking to do something online, they don't like physical stuff too much, which is kind of a shame. But I know they're looking for people like you, right? Like people that want to do some kind of they have money and they're trying to hand it up.
Yeah. I like those kind of people.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, as long as they like you.
Exactly.
So, I encourage you to check it out. Or if you know somebody, like throw it out there. What is the name though? Titletown. Oh God, that's getting edited.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll have to throw it in there later. Any questions you can think of that you want to ask?
And Mark, I was just giving you hell. I say things I give hell to everybody, just so I'm resting. Don't hit me in the throat. Please don't hit me in the throat.
Roll for damage.
No, pop that pencil next snack. So.
Let me think.
No, I'd rather do everything in person too. Just when COVID came through, my brother and his wife didn't want to interact with a lot of people because she was pregnant and stuff.
Oh.
So then we used the Roll20 just to play our game, and we put our game into it. And so it was just a way to
Continue
FaceTime
playing.
or whatever.
Yeah, to get through.
to get just to play with each other.
Well, that's what I was.
There was a pretty good platform for it.
When I was in
They
California,
roll
we
the
were doing.
dice for you and stuff, and have the
Okay.
information in there.
That sounds nice, actually.
It was alright.
does.
Since we couldn't get together
It's as
physically.
close to realistic
Yeah.
as possible.
I much prefer being next to a person. And
I
doing
do like
something.
rolling
Yes.
the sound of dice, the look of whoa,
Yeah.
the cheers of the natural 20 roll. Whoa,
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole- yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I prefer to roll dice too. I have way too many dice.
No one does. Mark, you're lying. No one has too many dice.
Well, I'd agree there too, but other people would think I have too many.
Actually, I've given away more dice than I have now. I mean,
Well,
I keep getting more dice. It's like, I don't want more dice. But I do take dice, but still, I give them away too. Gosh darn it.
I'm curious to know so we talked about it a little bit, but virtual reality in the future, like everything's like you've heard of the metaverse and things moving in that direction. I love playing on a hard surface board with somebody right in front of me, but like your game broke up because people moved away, and if I could still play with the guys in Delaware, I'd love to. There's a clear problem because of the distance, and we tried Zoom. It's very, it's crackly. It's hard to talk to people.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't. It's not like playing in person, right?
Mhm.
But have you tried virtual reality headsets or have you?
Well, I've tried Oculus,
Yeah.
and those are the people that we're talking about doing. I don't know how much I should say about this, Nathan. Um,
That's
um,
It's in your-
they've been talking to us about working with them
Yeah.
because they would like to have me write an adventure. Then they do all of their technical stuff, and then that'll come out. They want Ernie to do it as well. So I don't know how far it is, and I've just been running this and not doing TSR stuff. So
Hopefully something's coming. Fantastic. But I imagine like a future of gaming where you know, no matter where you are, no matter what time it is, you know, you can pop in and play a game. And I'm thinking like how cool would that be? Like as long as it's reasonably realistic, um, you know, you remember the Yu-Gi-Oh television show? You know, where they had the cards, but they would play the card, and then there was this like virtual map that would pop up a creature in the show. Yeah, I don't know. The future is so damn interesting when you think about technology and how it can interact with games, and especially when you're in a, 17-player game or something like you can do all kinds of fun stuff.
oh yeah,
So
yeah. The future is here actually. All of the different technology with the 3D mapping systems and
well, I see you have the project with the what hologram thing downstairs. It's pretty interesting. So it's playing a video. What is it actually?
it's playing a video of Gary Gygax, Dave Arneson, the creators, some of the old Gen Cons, and just talking about it was when the satanic panic was going on back in the day, and Gary's trying to explain it's just a game. People are not trying to kill each other. And then I think there's a little snippets of some of the early Gen Cons as well, people playing games. But yeah, we want people also, because people don't know, hardly know what Gary looks like. So you can come here, see what he actually sounds like. It doesn't sound like a Wisconsinite. I'm born and raised in Wisconsin, and I don't sound like one. But we are a little kind of twangy. But yeah, just to hear his voice. And how many other places can you go hear his voice?
But to have somebody that was so prolific in creating something that culturally caught, it became a cultural moment. It still is today. I mean, it's a growing thing. So to have that as somebody from Wisconsin, this is Green Bay Independent Media, so predominantly in Green Bay. When I do ads, it's
Go
around Green Bay.
Packers!
There we go.
Green and gold.
They could have done better. There was this last. Anyway,
Yes.
I'm a little,
Don't
I'm a little
go there.
jaded from the last 49ers. Yeah, they lost. Yeah. Anyway, okay, that's a problem. That being said,
That can be edited.
knowing that this is a Wisconsin thing and that people should hopefully embrace that, and I want everyone to know Wisconsin is staking its claim on D&D. So
I think it was already staked.
It was staked, just no one.
I need
found the
people to
stake.
know. Bigger flags,
Yeah.
louder volumes.
Also,
booms.
starting next year, there's supposed to be, I think it's going to be a week long, but it's going to be Dragon Days. And Lake Geneva is going to, they're going to have a run fair downtown on the lake. People are going to dress up. Shop owners are going to dress up. I have a serving wenches with a wooden tray. Oh, no, that wasn't me. You can cut that, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, no. It's going to be great. That's going to bring more people in to recognize D&D. When we went to the Chamber of Commerce meeting, they said, we didn't expect these guys, but this is the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum. So we stood up and said hi, and I'm a local guy from a small town 4 miles north of Lake Geneva here, so that kind of helped. And then some random lady from, we had no idea, said, these guys are going to bring in lots of money. I was like, we like her. But that's what we're trying to do, is bring gamers in to educate them, to see where it all came from. Gary Con every year brings $3 to $4 million just to Lake Geneva. So they know what revenue is possible. This should be like a Dungeons and Dragons Disneyland. This whole town should be, you know, and they should embrace that.
Sure.
But there's a lot of people. It's still the rich around the lake, the mansion owners. They don't want to muck stuff up. We don't want a Disneyland here. So, yeah.
Oh, I think one of those mansions would be a great place to play some D&D.
Yes, it would be. We've been talking about that too. So.
So when you go around Green Bay, everything's Green Bay Packers. You go to McDonald's down the road, it's Green Bay Packers. Wouldn't it be cool if you popped into local restaurants here and it was just Dungeons and Dragons everything?
Wouldn't it?
I really would.
And it would make all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Then people would come and collect all of the McDonald's plastic cups from the Dungeons and Dragons series. Yeah.
So.
And just one more thing to say, D&D's not dying. Thanks to Nathan, the next generation is coming. That's the best thing in the world.
Thanks to Damien.
Yeah, Damien, his son, and then there's over 5 million of us that play D&D. So we banded together instead of. It's still. The gaming industry's been fractal for way too long. It started with Dave Arneson and Gary Gygax. We're trying to bring everybody together. We just want to have fun and get the name out, Gary Gygax. So.
They actually, Damien has a D&D club they play at school every Friday. After school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's an after school program.
Is that a crap, what is it? You can cut this. It's not funded. I told Justin what we should.
Sanctioned or whatever?
Yeah, it's not even sanctioned. It would be where someone starts a D&D club, and then we send them for like $10 a kid or something. We send them D&D T-shirt. We send them D&D dice in a D&D dice bag,
Nice.
and just give them a little bit of a flavor. That gets our name out, and then other kids, because we started the game club here at our high school back in '76.
I don't think it's anything like that yet. I think it's just a
Is
teacher
that your
who
phone?
wanted to.
I'm beeping and buzzing.
Is it
now.
okay if I hang out here with the cool kids?
Yeah, we were just doing an interview, but other than that, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good.
He can edit you.
Yeah.
This is Evan, by the way.
Sorry, y'all.
I haven't.
No, you guys do your thing.
So let's talk about that for a little bit though. So if there's a grade school, high school, etc., and some students wanted to start a gaming group, you're telling me that you have some way of getting them involved.
So what they would need to do, you good kids, they need a teacher to be their mentor, because we always had to. Time should be even more strict than they
Theirs
were
was,
before.
I believe, started by one of the teachers.
And then we just need to be contacted by the teacher, and we find out how many players are there, and then we go from there. We don't have any 5e stuff, but we just the dice bag with our logo, their first set of dice, stuff like that, a t-shirt, so they can wear a club t-shirt if they want every Tuesday or Friday or
That
whatever.
sounds like a great experience. So the teacher should email you, call you, or
Yeah, at tsr.com or dungeonhobbyshopmuseum.com. You want to ask for Duck Leeson or Jeff Leeson or Duck, and I'm the curator here, and we'll try to set you up with something as quickly as possible. We want to get those kids playing, so.
cool.
Yeah.
So in closing, thank you so much for your help.
Oh no, you're more than welcome.
Man, I'm
Thank
telling
you.
It's such a great pleasure to be able to do this with you, and especially thank you again for getting Damien to play a game.
Oh no,
that's great.
Again, this is what gaming's about. People don't. Everybody's been so secluded, and there's so many little cliques, and then with COVID, so now it's come on out and play.
Yeah, right.
It's
Time
about
to
time.
get back together.
So,
to get back together.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
It was good meeting you guys.
All right.